Hello everyone, this is Nox, and today we're doing something a little bit different. I wanted to do a Zero to Hero series about the Scion armor stacker. So I followed Big Daddy on YouTube, and I don't know how large of a father figure he is, but he makes some pretty insane characters over the leagues. I actually just found him this league, and he makes some pretty insane stuff. He's farming multiple mirrors an hour, doing Valdo's maps on an armor stacker, and that seems pretty cool. But I think it would be interesting to showcase how to get to that point. So what I've done is I've put together a character for 75 chaos. Now it's obviously not an armor stacker right away, but it is a Scion, it is playing Smite, and it essentially is the shell of an armor stacker without all of the uniques and things required to make that build work. So going over the character while I'm running some maps in the background. Like I said, we spent 75C on this character. Don't expect a ton. There's other builds you can play that are stronger. I just wanted to play Smite from the get-go. So for our weapon, we have Haon's Fury. Pretty cheap. It's a 2C item if you wanted to skip past the people that are just selling it for 1C and won't respond. Lots of flat lightning damage per frenzy charge. We're getting a little bit of frenzy charges in the build, but not that much. Alpha's Howl. This will actually be with us for quite a while. This gives us Cannot Be Frozen, some cold res, and +2 level of stock of aura gems. We have Lycosidae, which gives us hits cannot be evaded. This is very nice. We don't have to worry about accuracy and frees up the rest of our slots as far as that stat goes. We have Carnage Heart, all attributes, elemental resistances, some life leech, and some damage while leeching. We have Valakos Sign. This is just increased lightning damage and damage against shocked enemies. Smite at a baseline has a chance to shock, so enemies are shocked quite often. We have Hoop of All, Iron Ring. That's again just increased damage, some stats, and some all attributes. We have a rare 6-link Dragon Scale. I think I paid 35C for this. Actually, I think it was less, but I put 35C in the spreadsheet. This is just so we can have Smite with elemental damage with attacks. Multi-strike, volatility, added lightning damage, and lightning penetration support. We have Painseeker Gloves. This is just for the flat damage. And we have some rare boots with increased movement speed. Finally, we have Perseverance. Now, this is really nice. Scion, because we're taking the champion ascendancy, has Fortify pretty much all the time when we're in combat, and so now we have Onslaught all the time when we're in combat. We're not exactly an armor stacker right now, but since we're using both Grace and Determination, we have a decent amount of both armor and evasion, so this gives us a pretty solid amount of attack damage for this budget. Again, 75C for the character. We've farmed up some currency. I'm going to pull open the spreadsheet and show you what we've made. All right, so jumping in game really quick, I wanted to quickly look at our atlas. So we basically took every Harbinger node on the tree. This is a singular focus atlas, and that helped us sustain the T6 and T7 maps. We actually over-sustained, which is very nice. We come up here, we grab Nico stuff with Packed with Energy, just more player power while we're in the map. Shrines, again, more borrowed power while we're in the map. All of the Harbinger nodes on the tree. We are taking mining byproducts, and this was actually a decent amount of essentially passive income. Getting the Azurite while we're clicking up the Sulfite veins anyway for player power is nice. We did come up and grab the Scarab nodes. We are killing the boss in the map every single time because it's right in the middle, so this extra Scarabs are nice to have. And then I would say, hindsight being what it is, again, this was just a 20 map little showcase just to barely get the character started. I would completely remove the essence nodes. So if I were you guys, I would not do the essence nodes at all. They take a while and they are such a small portion of the overall profit from this farm that it's not really worth it. You can put the points into more Scarab chance or more map sustain, whatever you feel like doing. All right, so going over the expenses. So these were scoured maps. This was a scour and go strategy. There's a completely white T7 maps, 20 city square maps. We have 3C for the Harbinger on the map device. We'd use 2 Harbinger Scarabs at 2C apiece. We have 1 Harbinger Scarab of Obelisk at 1C apiece. We have 1 Harbinger Scarab of Warhordes at 9C, 1 of Regency for 8C, and I priced the maps at 5C a piece. That's what you can buy them for in bulk on various discords, for a total of 600 chaos or 2.6 divines in cost. For our revenue, I used Wealthy Exile to price some of these, and then I've sort of like adjusted it up and down as I saw fit. Fracturing orbs are probably about 6 divines, for example. So this is actually a pretty conservative estimation of what you would make. We have about 1.25 fracturing orbs, which was a good sum of our profit at almost at almost 8 div by itself. We have 2,925 chaos in raw currency, 62 chaos in scarabs, 28 chaos in essences. This is why I said earlier that you should probably drop it. And then uniques, we had it at about 75C. We did drop an Astramentus. We did drop a Cost Priest chess piece, things of that nature. You can totally remove this from the calculation and it wouldn't be that big of a deal. 75C in uniques isn't too bad. We did over sustain our maps. As you can see in the dump tab here, we have tons of city squares left over and we have tons of shores. Both of these are viable to run this strategy, and I will continue to do so. However, I didn't want to continue on such a crappy character for very long. So this was just 20 maps, made a few chaos, and we're going to pump in some upgrades. And then finally, the resonators, that is with the Pact with Energy, mining byproducts passive on the Atlas passive tree. We made about 88 chaos from that. So we made a total revenue of 3,298 chaos, or 14.6 raw divines, and our profit for that is just under 12 divines. If this was 90C in resonators, if resonators went up in price, it would be a nice clean 12 divines. And we made about half a divine, a little over half a divine per map. As far as character cost goes, Haon's Fury is 2C. I basically took all of the uniques that were 1C on the character, and I doubled them to 2C because it's hard to get people to respond. So we have 2C for the weapon, 5C for the Alpha's Howl, 2C for the Carnage Heart, 2C for Painseeker, 2C for Valco Sign, 5C for Perseverance, 2C for Leopold, rare boots for 5C. I did get the rare 6 link for 35 chaos. I'm assuming you could probably get it for that. I didn't think I found a deal. I just bought a white armor and then I put a couple dense fossils into it. But even if we say that that's 50 chaos, this is a 90C character. And then like today, I put at 15C. A lot of these uniques you'll probably find on your own at this point in the league, but assuming you were just starting the league today and you wanted to start a Scion armor stacker, this is something that you could put together for about 90C. You're probably going to make about 90C while you're progressing through the Atlas and getting your Void Stones and all of that. So total for this, 20 maps. We made 12 divines in profit. Now we have essentially 10 divines that I'm going to dump into the character, and then 2 divines that we're going to save for our next strategy, which might be some more of this. But yeah, I wanted to start this character at a very, very low baseline, 90C for the character. You can definitely do better than what I did here. I specifically chose these uniques because they're super common. They're super easy to find. I don't have to, pick up a rare for a good deal. And then people are like, oh no, that ring's way more expensive. None of this stuff is going to go up in price at all. It's all garbage, except for maybe Perseverance, which is pretty strong. But yeah, this was a solid farm. I really enjoyed it, but I want to upgrade this character. I will say that you could play a different skill that is not Smite at this stage of the character and probably do a lot better. For example, if you dropped the sword and the shield and you grabbed Calm's Primacy and just use Smite with it, or you could use Volcanic Fissure of Snaking. That would add to the cost because the gem itself I still think is like 35C or something like that. Something you could do instead, still on a Scion, still with the same sort of garbage setup. Quickly going over the passive tree, I am a Scion, I am Ascended, I took Champion first, and we're doing Path of the Duelist. I'm spending some points here because we're going to be coming around down this side. I grabbed some of the damage wheel here, some of the accuracy. We were using Precise Technique, so that's why I still have this accuracy here. We can unspec that. And I'll update the path of building. It'll be cleaner in the description below of what I actually think you guys should use. We did come up here to Elemental Overload to grab the Aura effect, And mostly this is setting up for the transition into the armor stacker, which is essentially an aura stacker. So right now we're just sort of pathing in the same area, so we have less refund points. The next video we will actually probably be an armor stacker or pretty close. I'll see what I can do with 10 divines, and we'll go from there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Again, just a stepping stone. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.